Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will be discussing about planning. So in the earlier video, we discussed about strategies and 7R. Now we will continue further conversation on cloud adaptation framework with the planning module. The planning module will convert our business strategies or goals into actionable strategies. So before we begin with, we should know what is digital estate. Digital estate include all the IT asset like virtual machine, server, application and data. Why does it needed? This is nothing but a kind of a inventory. So when you have this information, it will become easier for us to uh, plan your migration. What is workload? Workload it's nothing but a collection of IT asset to support a business process. Say you have a time sheet application. In this case, you will be having uh, possibly like one front end application, one database. So you're looking at two virtual machines, and one application, one database. Planning phase starts with digital estate. So basically, this is nothing but the inventory of all your assets. And when you have the inventory, and then you will categorize these using the 7 hours that we discussed. If it is Azure, then probably you will go with the 5 hours. Irrespective of what, you have to categorize that and priority. So based on the priority, as well as the category and the complexity, you will be able to identify which applications to be migrated in which phase. When you have this inventory, now you have to do a TCO. Basically, like this will tell us whether it is it does make any sense to migrate to Azure. If so, like what would be your total cost of ownership and time consideration, because like migrating to Azure, it's definitely not only Azure, like to any cloud, uh, any cloud provider, it becomes a time consuming activity, right? So you should know like how is there any time consideration that you are looking at. That would include your downtime assessment and continuous optimization. Like if at all you migrate to Azure, like what are all the benefits that you will be getting and all those things, right? So we'll be considering that again here. And technical consideration, right? So technical consideration, by uh, before you migrate, you have to plan for your infrastructure scalability and application integrations, right? So like let's assume that you have an e-commerce application that has hell lot of integrations, then you have to plan it accordingly. And security protocols, of course, like when you have a landing zone, then the security will be little bit easier for you. But then again, here we should know for each application what is there any complaints that we need to follow, right? So that you have to consider. And automation, so how do you monitor and all those things, how do you monitor, how do you operate the application, and all those things you have to consider. When you have these information, then you should focus on the organization alignment, where like you will be letting the business people know that hey, like we are about to migrate these applications to cloud, and then like we definitely need your support, or probably like you have to lead these efforts, right? So that the business will be in alignment with the overall organization alignment, right? So for instance, for individual application, you will be having the not only the application inventory but also the process and the people inventory, right? So like who is the business owner, operating manager, and then like a product owner, EAs, and all those things you have to capture. Why this is needed, as when you're about to migrate, you have to in sync your migration team or accelerator team should be in sync with these people, because like without their support, they won't be able to do anything. And now when you have all this information, right, so these are all the information that you are supposed to gather in the planning phase. So first you will have a inventory, application inventory, and then like the TCO, rough TCO, right? At this moment, you won't be able to get the exact TCO, and the like a time consideration and technical consideration and all those things, as well as like you also know who and all have to be onboarded even before considering the migration. With all this information, you have to take Microsoft suggested to follow the approach of 10, wherein like you will be migrating 10 priority workloads, like some HR applications, some finance applications, some communication applications, all those things, like some get start with a simple application. It's a to me, like I will get start with the simple applications first, to make sure that if there are any gaps that can be easily addressed, rather than like picking a e-commerce application that will have hundreds and thousands of integrations. Just to pick up the application that doesn't have the multiple upstream and downstream applications, or multiple uh, integration points that migrate. Once people kind of are comfortable, that pick up little more complex application and go further. Also, like at this point, we should know the skill readiness plan, because like when application is migrated to cloud, definitely like you need to have a people to support that, right? It should not be a concern. So even before you migrate, you have to plan for the readiness plan, skill readiness plan, and then like go out and implement that, whether you are migrating to uh, that particular application or not, irrespective of, let everyone know the fundamentals of the cloud which you are interested in. uh, anyway, at some point they will go through this process, right? And DevOps will perform a uh, will perform a crucial place in this complete execution. So definitely you have to have a DevOps team. Unlike the on-prem, in DevOps, like in cloud, um, you 90% of the time you have to use these ACD pipelines. So definitely having a strong DevOps team, it's what I would recommend as a enterprise architect. So basically, like this is what something that I have it as a kind of a reference from a planning plan that you are expected to have. So workload, you have to have it, some workload. Business process, well, what kind of a business process it falls under, priority high. And migrations, what is your migration strategy, which team it's responsible, who is the business owner, operating manager, enterprise architect, cost, current operating cost, and then like does this team have a fundamental knowledge, expected downtime, and application complexity. You define all this, right? How do you say this is the minimal downtime, and how do you say this application complexity it's high? How do I say like operating cost and all of those? You have to define, hey, like if it falls under this particular bucket, then I will call it as this, whatever is that. And what is your upstream application, or what is your downstream application, what is the technology stack, and what exactly you are looking at, uh, by migrating to the cloud, right? So when you have all this information, it becomes easy for us to identify the top 10 batches of 10 workloads for a migration. So the overall outcome for the planning phase, it's not, it's me, it's on getting your inventory, right? Inventory with priority, and making the people ready for that, and making sure that you have a corresponding skilled DevOps organization and organization alignment. That's all we are looking at from the planning phase. That's all we have for planning here. When we are done with the planning, then we have to go to the next phases that we will discuss in the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.